This is Saquarema, and this is John surfing Saquarema. I'm going to analyze fantasy picks and answer the question, can John win back-to-back events? I've researched years of WSL numbers to find out how difficult it is to win two events back-to-back in the same season. Do surfers cool off after a win? That's coming up. But first, let's talk about the event. Saquarema is located in the Brazilian state of Rio de Janeiro and will pick up any swell from the south or east, but will capitalize on low-pressure systems that develop under South America this time of year. There are two ways in Saquarema, Itaúna and Barrinha. Itaúna on the north end of the beach is a peaky beach break when it's small, but on larger swells, especially from the southeast, the waves break off the end of the rocks and peel along the sandbank like a long left point. Low to mid-tide is best, while high tide can cause the infamous rebound. I asked Yagadora for advice on surfing Itaúna.
Yeah, just watch the backwash. That's it.
Right on, everybody. You heard it from Yago.
Here's Katie demonstrating how to flow with a rebound. Now let's talk about Barrinha on the other end of the beach next to Saquarema's landmark church. The Rio Pro in 2018 is a great example of the potential of this right-hand tube. It's a fast, jetty-formed, sand-bottom barrel with the occasional air section or open lip bash opportunity. It can be a really good wave and what the CT surfers would hope to score. The Vivo Rio Pro waiting period is the shortest of any event on tour this year at only 9 days. Here's the surf forecast with a medium swell arriving in the middle of the schedule, but mostly small otherwise. This video is 5 days ahead of the event and will definitely change by the time the contest starts. Follow me on Instagram for frequent surf updates and related content. My website, oldsurfdad.com, also has surf forecast charts and is packed with stats to help you pick your fantasy team. But here's one I distilled from the data. The Rio Pro was formerly held in the punchy city beach breaks of Rio de Janeiro before they opted to move northeast about an hour-and-a-half drive to Saquarema in 2017. Since relocating, it's been all Brazilian champions on the men's side. Most recently, Yagadora, and before that, a three-peat at this event by Felipe Toledo. Brazilians definitely have a home court advantage here, and we haven't even talked about the thousands of cheering fans that pack the beach. That's an interesting thing to keep in mind as we look at the fantasy picks. I'll be making my official picks live with Western Australia's T-Bone and Brazilian legend Ícaro Cavalheiro on Thursday, June 20th at 5:30 p.m. Los Angeles time. All right, here's my Rio Pro Fantasy Radar sponsored by CARVE.SURF. This includes my top pick, my coming in hot, my dark horse, and my hard pass. In women's Tier A, you'll find my top pick, Katie Simmers. She's a great choice for my power surfer, although this is a strong Tier A group with Caroline looking in form, coming off a win in Surf City, and Brisa always solid in a variety of conditions. Still, top pick for me, Katie Simmers. In Tier B, Gabrielle Bryan is coming in hot. Her runner-up finish was fueled by pure power surfing. I asked her about it after the El Salvador event, and here's what she had to say.
Yeah, I think power surfing is just naturally my style of surfing, and I think the more that I am learning to embrace that and just show my point of difference to the world is really helping me and something that I'm going to continue to do. So there's definitely going to be no shortage of power surfing. You guys can expect that from me, and yeah, I hope everyone's enjoying it because I like doing it.
I think she'll go well in Rio's Beachy, and she's had decent results here. In Tier C, you'll find my dark horse, Sawyer Lindblad, and my hard pass, Sofia Medina. Sawyer is my dark horse because I watched her ride waves in El Salvador and loved her surfing. And Sofia Medina is my hard pass because I had to choose between her and Tana Hinkle, and Tana has slightly better stats and experience. Let me know who your top pick and dark horse are in the comments below. In men's Tier A, there's 3 surfers that went out in the elimination round last year. That's right, Jack Robinson, Griffin Colapinto, and Gabriel Medina all went home early in 2023. And check this out, both Griffin and Gabriel lost in the elim round in 2022 as well. Hard to believe that Griffin and Gabby have been eliminated 2 years in a row in Rio. Now let's focus on John, and answer the question, can he go back to back? I want to get there by starting with Idolo. Remember, Idolo won the Shiseido Tahiti Pro this year and then followed that up with an early exit in El Salvador after being eliminated by local wildcard Brian Perez. Yes, Brian's air was incredible, but Idolo looked to have momentum and fire and, well, back to the stoke Idolo we all know. Now, this got myself and longtime fan of the show, Glenn P., thinking about what the numbers are for first place winners in their following event. Do competitors tank after a win? Is there a cooling off period? Here's a graph for 2024 showing the men's winners represented by the blue bar in 10,000 points, along with the red bar, which represents the result in the next event. This shows that 67% of the time, men's surfers do indeed tank in the next event, going from a first place to a 17th place. The anomaly here is Griffin Colapinto, who followed up a win in Portugal with a runner-up finish at Bells. Taking a broader look, here's the last 3 years, and we can see that 43% go from the penthouse to the basement, and that 70% have a 9th place finish or less. By the way, a 9th place finish means you didn't make your bracket round heat, or, as we say in the Survival League, survive. It's not the result you want. Again, 70% of the men's surfers have a below average result after a win. Only 13% make the semis or better, and you can see in 2022, Jack Robinson achieved the rare back-to-back season win as a champion of both Margaret River and G-Land. Taking a closer look at John specifically, here's a graph of his 8 CT victories. He's had a history of following up wins with average to good results, but in his last 2 wins, he tanked with 17th place finishes. How will he do in Rio, and will he cool off? It's hard to say, but I'm backing him to have another solid result. He has a lot less pressure, having made the Final 5, and is well ahead in the rankings. He was in the semis at Saquarema last year, surfed great in El Salvador, and seems completely in rhythm. By the way, the women's graphs show similar trends, but not as pronounced as the men's because there are less women on tour and therefore less variance between results. To see all these spreadsheets, go to the oldsurfdad.com fantasy stats page or check the link in the description below. In Tier B is where you'll find my top pick, Yago Dora. Yes, he won last year and was in the semis the year before. Yes, he wins 71% of his heats in Saquarema. And yes, his average heat score of 13.9 is significantly higher than anyone else. Yago's surfing in El Salvador was nothing short of amazing. If he brings that to Rio, we could be in for a show. Sure, everyone is going to pick him, and me as well, but will you power Yago? Let me know in the comments below. Coming in hot is Matthew McGilvray, who earned a semifinals result in Surf City and caught me completely off guard. I picked him and Imai as a hard pass. Dang. Speaking of hard pass, I'm going to have to choose Imai Kalani again because he's never surfed in a CT here, and I don't think his style fits this backwashy beachy. Again, for finals picks from our international panel, you don't want to miss the live broadcast on Thursday, June 20th at 5:30 p.m. Los Angeles time. That's 8:30 p.m. in New Smyrna Beach, and in Sydney, that's Wednesday morning at 10:30 a.m. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing. If there's something more you'd like to see in these previews, please let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and now your moment of stoke.
Hey John, it looked like you were having fun on that last wave. How much of that is a factor when you're surfing?
Oh, for me, having fun is everything. When I see it myself so much when I compete, if I take it too seriously, I'm too tense, and I don't surf how I would normally surf. And I love surfing, so when I'm having fun, that's when I do my best, and when I'm surfing my best. So that's like my goal mindset to kind of get to in these events.